You're listening to Cosmic Cousins, Soul-Centered Astrology. I'm your host, Jeff Henshaw. Cosmic Cousins is a weekly astrology podcast dedicated to creating a sacred container for deepening your connection to the cosmos. Each episode offers space for ritual, meditation, and contemplation, supporting your journey of embodied health, self-discovery, and deeper learning. Thanks for tuning in.
Gold in my skin carries the weight of my kin.
Hey, Cosmic Cousins. Welcome back to another week of the podcast. This is our weekly astrology weather update for April 20th through April 26th. I'm recording this a day late on April 21st, and honestly, that feels really on theme because yesterday marked the beginning of Taurus season, the first full day of Taurus season. So instead of rushing to record, I had a lot of things falling into place. It's just been an intense week. I think if you listened last week, you might have learned that a friend of mine had unexpectedly passed away. So I've just been processing a lot of grief. And also, when the sun enters Taurus, we're on this polarity of Taurus and Scorpio. And so instead of recording yesterday, when I had a few hour break between clients, I went to the park and sat under a tree, got my hands in the dirt, and let my body slow down enough to actually receive this season. And that's something I like to do at the beginning of each astrological season, is really honor the archetype. And so since this week's started off with the sun entering Taurus, I really wanted to honor Taurus in that sort of way, which encourages us to not only slow down, be in our body, connect to nature, but also I'm thinking of the polarity to Scorpio, which we do have the Scorpio full moon that's coming up. That will be next week. And whenever we're in a sun season, the full moon will always be in the polar sign. And so every Taurus season, we have a Scorpio full moon. And so this is speaking to the polarity between the connection to nature and the body and our relationship to death and that which is ready to be transformed and transmuted. So yeah, here we are. The sun has entered Taurus. So happy birthday, Tauruses out there. If you're a Taurus moon or Taurus rising, this is also a special time of the year for you. We're moving from cardinal fire into fixed earth. We're moving from initiation into cultivation. However, let's keep in mind that there's a lot of energy still in Aries in the sky. In some ways, this is almost like an honorary Aries season. Even though the sun is in Taurus, we still have Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Neptune, Chiron, and Eris all in the sign of Aries. That's 6 different planets or planetoids. So that's a lot of fire. So it's like we're being asked to ground. The sun is now in Taurus. Venus is also in Taurus, although she'll be shifting this week into Gemini. We're still moving through a deep initiatory time. And that's going to be true really the whole time Mars is in Aries, which is another like 6 weeks or so. And then also Saturn is in Aries for another 2 years. Neptune is in Aries for about 14 years. So this is a shift into some sort of new chapter in our life. But luckily for us, we do get this 30-day time period to be into the invitations of Taurus. Again, connecting to the 5 senses. The 5 senses activate and awaken the 6th sense of intuition for Taurus. One of Taurus's parts of the body is the third eye center. You can think of the bullseye. Breathing into your third eye. Let's start here. The esoteric phrase for Taurus is I see. And when the eye is opened, all is illumined. So let's take a moment to connect to Taurus's body parts. This is the throat. This is the lips, the mouth, the tongue. So take a deep inhale into these parts of the body and into the third eye. And as you exhale, allow yourself to fully arrive here this time of year. On the northern hemisphere, we're right fixed in the middle of spring, fixed earth. If you're on the southern hemisphere, you're right fixed in the middle of autumn. Either way, bring your awareness to nature, to the ground, to your body. Taurus is also a sign deeply connected to finances and resources, to stability and sustainability in our life. So this is a time of year to also shine a light to those many themes as well. So stay with the process. Stay with what it is that you're building. Although things might be shifting and changing, there are some like tectonic plates shifting because Uranus is at the final degree of Taurus this week and will shift into Gemini on the 25th, which is this coming Saturday. Uranus shifts into Gemini. So we're going to check in with that in a moment. But for now, just some reflection questions for us in Taurus season is, what am I devoted to right now in tangible, practical ways? So what are you devoted to right now in tangible, practical ways? Where in your life are you being asked to slow down? And how might you more deeply connect to and trust in the pace of your body, of your growth? So again, bring awareness to your neck and throat throughout this week. I think gently rolling your neck, softening your jaw, these sort of things can be really helpful. Let's keep in mind that there is a lot of Aries energy in the backdrop. Again, Mercury, Mars, and Saturn are all in Aries, along with 3 other placements, but I'm bringing them up because early in the week, they're all hanging out together in the early degrees of Aries. So this is a powerful alignment. Mercury is the mind and communication. Mars is action and ambition, and then Saturn is discipline and responsibility. So this is a very focused fire. This could be serious conversations or really kind of reality checks when it comes to decisions that are requiring courage for yourself, being asked to take responsibility with the direction of your life and communicating about it. And then also with that conjunction taking place, for those of you who are team asteroids like me, Juno is currently in Aquarius right now, hanging out with Pluto this week. So Juno and Pluto are meeting at 5 degrees of Aquarius this week. And so Juno is commitment and contracts and relationships. Pluto is transformation, soul level truth, power, Aquarius, community, humanity, the collective, the future. So this week also has the signature of Juno and Pluto conjunct in Aquarius. So this is about deepening commitment to community or letting go of friendships or community that are no longer supportive. Pluto is in Aquarius for 20 years. So during this 20-year time period, we're in a long initiation around community and belonging and collective power. This week, however, it does bring a moment of choice, like recommitment or release. So some things to be considering is, where are you being asked to show up more honestly in your communities? What communities and friendships feel aligned with how you are evolving, and which ones might feel complete? These are some themes that might come up this week. So choosing communities that honor your evolution. As an Aquarius, I'm an Aquarius rising with an Aquarius sun, so I'm definitely reflecting on this Pluto-Juno conjunction. So take into consideration when you're hearing these weekly transits, maybe not all of them apply to you, but if you do know that you have strong Aquarian energy, or if you know you're strong Leo, because Leo is opposite Aquarius, then some of these themes might resonate with you. But some examples for me, I'm part of the Death Cafe in Joshua Tree. The ritual choir follows after Death Cafe. So this feels like Pluto and Aquarius because it's collective grief work, transforming death into shared ritual and voice. I'm thinking about my relationship to you all in the collective, Cosmic Cousins, which for me is, very Aquarian. It's broadcasting information out to the collective that's connected to astrology. And I'm recommitting to my relationship to Cosmic Cousins at this time. I'm thinking about the Fool's Journey that I host, which is a journey through the major arcana of the tarot. It's an archetypal exploration and community, which is very Juno, Pluto, and Aquarius, evolving consciousness through shared myth. So I'm just thinking about the different communities in my life and how there is a deepening soul commitment, which is very Pluto, to these communities at this time. Venus joins with Uranus this week on Wednesday, April 22nd. This is midweek. We get Venus conjunct Uranus in Taurus, and this is the last time that this will happen while Uranus is in Taurus. And it's almost like Venus comes and gives Uranus one last kiss. So Venus, again, is love and values, money, beauty. Uranus is disruption, shaking things up, awakening, liberation. Taurus, stability, security, the body. So this could be a shock to the system of what we value. There could be surprises in finances, or Venus is also love, relationships, final shifts, sudden clarity about what no longer feels aligned around these themes. So this could be some feeling like a little bit of disruption, but also liberation. So where are you outgrowing certain value systems? Where are you wanting to call in greater freedom into your life financially and in relationships? And then this all sets us up for Venus to enter Gemini on Thursday. And so Venus moves into Gemini on Thursday, April 23rd. I love Venus in Gemini. Actually, love becomes very curious and talkative. Connection becomes conversational. Attraction becomes mental. So the word sapiosexual comes to mind. There's a little bit more of playfulness with Venus in Gemini. So we're moving from embodied devotion into exploration and dialogue. And really, Gemini and the tarot is the Lover's card. So you could put the Empress, which is Venus, and the Lovers, which is Gemini, next to each other as a meditation. But what I think is interesting, and for some of us who are ready to expand our consciousness to include TNOs. Have you heard of TNOs? Trans-Neptunian objects. These are objects that are out in the far reaches of our solar system, and they often carry deep mythic collective stories. And so I wanted to introduce you to Sedna. Sedna just shifted into Gemini in this past year. And at this moment in time, I believe is at 1 degree of Gemini. Let me turn Sedna on. I don't always have Sedna turned on, but she's popping into my mind right now. Yeah, she's at 1 degree of Gemini for quite some time. But yes, Sedna has a very profound mythology. Kind of recap it. I won't go into the whole story, but essentially her father kept wanting to marry her off to someone, and she kept refusing that offer. And then finally she kind of surrendered to her father's request. And so she went to an island where, once she was released to this island, to this new partner, the partner ended up being some sort of demonic bird, turned himself into a demonic bird. And so she sent out a call to her father to come and get her. And her father came and rescued her from this island, and then the demonic bird created some sort of storm, and so she fell out of the boat, and then she reached onto the edge of the boat, and then her father cut her hands off, and then she fell to the bottom of the ocean, and then sea creatures were born from her fingers, and so she became the goddess of the ocean. So it's a deep, almost kind of like Neptunian underworld, underwater theme of being betrayed by the masculine, being betrayed by the patriarchy. And she teaches us that through surrender, there is a rebirth that emerges. And so Sedna represents betrayal, abandonment. Specifically, it can be from father figures, from the masculine. This story is very present within the collective right now. It is a story of transforming trauma into psychic abilities, communication, into rebirth through rest, through surrender. So maybe not everyone's going to resonate with Sedna themes, but if you have anything in the early degrees of Gemini, or for all of us, as Venus enters Gemini, these themes might come more into the realm of communication, storytelling, language, or the mind. So this is about finding words for what has been unspeakable, reclaiming your voice after betrayal. So what stories have not found language yet? What does it mean for you to speak yourself into your power, into your sovereignty? And also Uranus then shifts into Gemini on Saturday. So this is one of the weeks of the year to really highlight. It's the final outer planet is shifting signs. Although Chiron will enter Taurus in a few weeks, we'll revisit that, but Chiron's not a planet. Uranus is. And so Uranus will stay in Gemini for about 7 to 8 years. And so this is a pretty huge shift. Uranus takes about 84 years to orbit the sun. So last time Uranus was in Gemini was about 84 years ago. So we're all entering a completely new era of communication and technology, learning, media, information exchange. So this can be very activating to the nervous system. So Uranus and Taurus brought in new technologies for finance. I think of like Venmo and PayPal and things like that. Uranus and Gemini is here to revolutionize our mental world, our informational world. So there's expected to be shifts in how we communicate, new technologies around language and connection. So, I mean, obviously AI is deeply connected to this, but it's not just limited to this. There's changes in early education systems, Gemini's early education. There's nervous system activation, but I also think a lot around gender expression. You know, Gemini is about duality. It's a lot of new understandings around the self and how you understand yourself to be. Gemini's esoteric phrase is, I see my other self, and in the waning of that self, I grow and glow. So overall, this week does feel like quite a shift. The sun has entered Taurus, and then Uranus and Venus are entering Gemini. So if you have breathwork practices, if you have any practices that allow you to connect to your lungs and also anything that slows your body down, this is the week to really lean in on those practices. And we can even look to the moon this week to also offer us some inspiration as well. So Tuesday and Wednesday, the moon is in Cancer. So this is Taurus sun with Cancer moon, earth and water. This is a very nourishing combo. It's like mud. It's like clay at the bottom of a creek. You know, this is fertile ground where something can actually grow. So Taurus is asking us to be in the body, and Cancer is asking us, is the body safe enough to soften? So emotional memory, the inner child, themes around home and ancestors come up Tuesday and Wednesday as the sun is in Taurus and the moon is in Gemini. And then Thursday and Friday, the moon moves into Leo, Taurus, sun, Leo, moon, both fixed signs, earth and fire. This is where spark comes back online, and this is the first quarter moon. So we're halfway to the full moon. Leo will bring in creativity and confidence, the inner child expressing itself, playful, radiant, stepping into the light. So what wants to be expressed Thursday and Friday? What are you ready to bring into the world to create from a place of joy, from the heart? And then as we get to Saturday and Sunday, my favorite, Virgo moon. It's time to organize and release. The South Node of Fate is in Virgo right now, so we could be releasing things this weekend, tidying up. These are two earth signs, which feels really nice. This is deep grounding energy, very practical, tangible. It's actually this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, with Taurus sun, Virgo moon. It is a time to really connect to nature, to the practical sides of life, to daily rituals, to health, to service. Clean your space, organize your thoughts, tend to your body in practical ways. But of course, watch out for self-criticism during that time. But Taurus sun, Virgo moon would be a great time to reinstate some health practices into your life. And so this is the week. We are grounding into Taurus while being initiated by all of this Aries fire, and the future begins to crackle open in the mind as Venus and Uranus enter Gemini. So take it slow where you are, stay in your body, let the change move through you without needing to rush to understand it. And so if this resonated, please feel free to share this episode. You could rate, review, leave some comments and love. And of course, as always, I do have availability for one-on-one readings, both tarot and astrology, and I also have a cosmic mixtape offering, which, by the way, if you're a Taurus, use the coupon code Taurus to receive $50 off a cosmic mixtape for your birthday. Coupon code Taurus upon checkout. So I'm sending you all off with a lot of love. Take sweet care, cousins, and remember, deep breaths.